You are fine at noon, breakfast decent, morning managed, lunch fine. Then 7 p.m. arrived, and someone pulled the plug. The patience, the decisions, the kitchen resistance, all of it gone. And you are standing there wondering what is wrong with you. Here is the answer: nothing. You did not run out of energy. You ran out of fuel. Those are not the same thing, and the difference, once you understand it, changes everything about how you approach every evening. I am Al, father, engineer, technical manager, and health coach. For years I thought that the 7 p.m. wall was just who I was. A person who starts strong and ends depleted, who makes good choices all morning and falls apart every evening. I kept asking the wrong question. What is wrong with me? The right question was, what is my body doing from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m.? And why does it always end the same way? When I saw the timeline, the cortisol map, everything made sense. Not my character, my chemistry. And chemistry, unlike character, can be changed with the right inputs. The cortisol timeline. It is what no one shows you. Cortisol follows a schedule, not a mood, not a reaction to stress alone, a biological schedule every single day. In the morning, between 7 and 9 a.m., cortisol peaks naturally. This is healthy. This is what gets you out of bed, what sharpens your focus, what makes the first half of the day feel manageable. Between 9 a.m. and noon, it drops. Your system settles. Your blood sugar stabilizes. You are running on the right fuel. If the morning was calm, protein at breakfast, no rush, you arrive at noon with a stable system. But most parent mornings are not calm. They are kids running late, the forgotten permission slip, the meeting that starts early, the message that cannot wait, the coffee on an empty stomach because there was no time. Each of those events spikes cortisol. Small spikes, but they accumulate. By noon, instead of dropping, your cortisol is still elevated. Your body never got the signal that the emergency was over. Then lunch. If lunch is light, a salad without protein, a skipped meal, something fast from a bag, blood sugar rises and then crashes within 90 minutes. The crash triggers cortisol again. At 2 p.m., your cortisol spikes a second time. Your body reads the drop as a threat. Get fuel now. That is the 3 p.m. crash. That is the vending machine. That is the fourth coffee of the day. By 5 p.m., cortisol has been elevated for most of the last 10 hours. Your system is in a mad emergency mode, even if you are sitting quietly in traffic. And by 7 p.m., two things have happened simultaneously. First, your blood sugar drops one more time, the last one before the evening window. Second, your cortisol tank is not just low, it is in depth. That is the wall, not tiredness, not laziness, depth. And a system in depth does not think clearly, does not parent patiently, does not resist the kitchen. It asks for the fastest deposit it can find: sugar, carbs, anything that raises blood sugar in 5 minutes. Not because you are weak, because the biological directive has one priority: deposit now. Energy depth is different from tiredness. When you are tired, you need sleep. Sleep helps. When you are in energy depth, sleep does not touch it. You wake up just as zen. Everything takes effort. The morning feels like starting a car in winter, because the day was not about sleep. It was about inputs. Here is the mechanism. Cortisol needs glucose to run. Every cortisol spike draws from your blood sugar reserve. Every stressful meeting costs cortisol, which costs glucose. Every parenting moment, every decision, every unread message that sat in your head all day. By 7 p.m., after 14 hours of draws and insufficient deposits, the account is overdrawn. And overdrawn system does not care about your goals. It wants the fastest deposit available. That is not a character flaw. That is an energy emergency. And your body treats it as one. Here is why every diet, every plan, every fresh start collapses at roughly week 3. Week 1, the motivation is fresh. Cortisol is actually lower. Novelty keeps it manageable. Week 2, habits are forming. Some momentum, still running on the new start adrenaline. Week 3, the adrenaline is gone. The novelty is gone. And the cortisol debt from the real pattern of your life is back, accumulated. The willpower runs out on the same schedule as the cortisol. Your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for decisions, impulse, control, patience, runs on stable glucose. Week 3 is when the blood sugar instability that has been running underneath the surface finally overtakes the motivation. Not because you are not trying hard enough, because you are using a depleted resource to run a long-term strategy. It was never going to last. And the most important thing I want you to hear, it is not your fault. You are not given the right information about what actually needs to change and when. The fix is not a new diet. The fix is 3 inputs before 7 p.m. ever arrives, before week 3 ever happens. Here is what I changed. Not a 7 p.m. before 7 p.m. ever arrived. Input 1. The protein anchor at lunch. 30 grams of protein before 1 p.m. Eggs, Greek yogurt, chicken, cottage cheese, tuna, whatever fits your day. This is not about the protein itself. It is about what protein does to the cortisol curve. When blood sugar rises slowly and holds for 6 to 8 hours, cortisol does not need to interfere at 3 p.m. The spike that was coming does not fire. The crash that follows it does not happen. The 5 p.m. elevation, softer, a different version of you, reaches 7 p.m. One input, 6 hours upstream, different evening. Input number 2, the transition moment. Before you walk through the door, 6 slow breaths in the car, in the elevator, anywhere you transition. In through the nose, out slow longer than inhale, 6 times. Cortisol drops measurably within 2 or 3 minutes. The alarm signal that has been running since 6 a.m. receives one message. The threat is over. Stand down. The version of you that walks through that door is not the depleted one, is the regulated one. And the regulated version of you has more of everything. Patience, presence, resistance to the kitchen. Input number 3. The 10-minute evening reset. Before the craving window opens. Before 9 p.m. Not meditation, not journaling, a specific sequence designed for the cortisol and blood sugar state of a parent at the end of a full day. It tells your nervous system one thing: the loop is finished for tonight. Cortisol descending, blood sugar stable, ghrelin quiet, kitchen closed. Not by force, by chemistry. You are not built wrong. You were running a system that was never given the right inputs, at the right windows, on the right schedule. The 7 p.m. wall is predictable. Week 3 is predictable. The 9 p.m. kitchen is predictable. But predictable means it can be interrupted. Give your chemistry what it actually needs at the right time and the evenings change. The wall softens. The week 3 collapse does not arrive. The kitchen stays closed. Not because you try harder, because you change the conditions before the conditions had a chance to change you. The night reset card is input number 3. The exact sequence, step by step, built for the 7 to 9 p.m. window, when the cortisol is highest, when the craving is loudest, when the kitchen feels closest. Link is the description below for command energy, and I'll send it to you direct. And if this finally explains why every evening ends the same way, share it with one parent who thinks they just need to try harder. They have been trying hard enough. They need the right inputs.